Remember that feeling? You know, like the first time a game really sucked you in? Like for me, it was exploring Hyrule Field in Ocarina of Time. Or maybe for you, it was getting the Buster Sword in Final Fantasy VII. Pure magic, right?
Nah.
But after digging into this week's source, it feels like that magic is, I don't know, maybe fading for some.
Hmm. Yeah.
So this deep dive, it's going to get kind of meta because we're tackling the state of gaming itself. We're going deep on a presentation, the evolution of nostalgia, and the presenter, someone called the Technomage. Catchy, right?
Definitely piques the interest.
And it's a wild ride, honestly. The Technomage argues that gaming is at a real crossroads right now, with some really insightful takes on why so many gamers are feeling disillusioned.
Yeah, disillusionment is a word I've been hearing a lot lately, too, when talking about games.
Right. And one of the first things that struck me was this idea, that feeling, that gaming magic, that nostalgia. It's not universal.
Oh, absolutely.
Younger players, the ones who grew up with like PS4s and Switches, they don't have that same connection to the 8-bit, 16-bit stuff. Like, I remember when the Game Boy Advance came out and those NES re-releases were huge. Do you think a game from your childhood would hit the same way with a younger player today?
You know, it's funny because it's not even just about how a game looks.
Yeah.
It's about the whole context of when and how you experience it. Every generation, they form these attachments to tech, to trends, to what was big when they were kids.
Makes sense.
For older gamers, those pixelated sprites, the chiptunes, they're more than just graphics and sound. They're tied to memories, to a feeling, you know?
Right, like cultural touchstones.
Exactly.
It's like how anyone my age freaks out a little when they see an NES in a movie. It's not just a console, it's a whole vibe.
A whole era.
But here's the thing. The Technomage points out this disillusionment. It's not just the older crowd feeling it.
Oh, interesting.
Younger players are feeling it too, apparently.
Really? What's the reasoning there?
Well, this is where it gets good. The Technomage doesn't hold back. They call out games as a service,
Right.
which, for anyone who hasn't bumped into that term, basically means games that are always updating, new content all the time, and there's a big but here, often with microtransactions tied in.
Yeah, see, I can see where that could lead to problems.
On paper, it sounds, I don't know, maybe even good, but it often ends up feeling like you never actually own the full experience.
It's funny because the term is games as a service, but to me, it always felt more like being on a treadmill. Like you're never really done. There's always something else to chase. Another goalpost they moved on you.
And probably another thing to buy, let's be honest.
Exactly. And, the Technomage argues that this constant pressure to make money, it can actually stifle the creativity.
Oh, for sure.
Instead of truly new W ideas, you get safe sequels and reboots. Stuff that clips on that nostalgia we were just talking about, but doesn't push any boundaries.
And honestly, we've all felt that frustration, right? You buy a game, maybe even the definitive edition, and bam, a year later.
New version.
Exactly.
So it's like, come on.
The Technomage says this constant monetization, it's creating this weird rift in gaming.
Absolutely. And this ties into another point they make. All those studio layoffs and mergers we keep seeing.
Man, don't even get me started.
It's like a symptom of a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Corporations, they're prioritizing profit over passion projects. And that's bad news for everyone.
Like, I swear, it's that feeling of, wait, didn't I just buy this last year? It's wild. Makes you wonder where the creativity's gone, you know?
Totally.
It's like the industry's stuck. Reboots, sequels, banking on that nostalgia instead of taking risks.
And speaking of nostalgia.
Oh, right. That was a big part of the Technomage's thing, too, wasn't it?
Huge. They argue that just chasing those old feelings, not a fix.
Really?
Yeah, they even think it's part of the problem.
Huh, interesting.
They made this really cool comparison, actually, to the Romantic movement.
Oh, like art history romantics.
Exactly. Remember, it was a reaction against the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
All that logic and reason. The Romantics, they wanted emotion back. Beauty, the sublime.
So you're saying gamers who are bummed about how things are now, they're like the romantics, wanting something deeper from games.
100%. And this is where the Technomage's presentation gets really interesting.
Oh.
They think artificial intelligence might be the answer.
Whoa, okay, hold up. When I first read that, I was like, is this sci-fi now?
Right. It sounds wild.
But the way the Technomage explains it,
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense. So break it down for me. How does AI fix gaming?
One of the biggest challenges for game devs, building those huge, engaging worlds, right?
Oh, for sure.
It takes massive teams, tons of time just to make the environments feel real.
Right.
But imagine AI tools that take on that heavy lifting.
No.
Suddenly, You've got these expansive, detailed worlds way beyond what we can do now.
So like games even bigger than, say, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Bigger and faster,
Yeah.
less development time.
Wow.
And it's not just size. What if those NPCs, they could actually learn from how you play?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Each interaction, totally unique, because the AI adapts to you.
No more of that same old dialogue tree no matter what you choose.
Gone. The Technomage even suggests AI could personalize the whole story, the quests.
Now that is what I'm talking about.
Great.
Games that surprise you again, that react in ways you don't expect.
Exactly. And here's the best part.
There's more.
The Technomage thinks this could be huge for small studios.
Really?
Think about it. Right now, those massive AAA games, they're crazy expensive. Only the big studios can even attempt them. But AI, it levels the playing field.
Oh, I see where you're going with
The
this.
smaller studios, they could suddenly make these incredible, ambitious games, too.
It'd be like, instead of the same 5 studios pumping out sequels, you've got this whole wave of indie devs shaking things up.
Yeah.
That's a future I can get behind.
Right?
But the Technomage isn't just like daydreaming about AI utopia here, right?
Oh, no, definitely not.
They're talking about a total shift how we think about games.
Exactly. And they argue this continental shift, as they call it. It starts with our choices.
Okay, I'm listening.
We vote with our wallets, right?
Huh.
So when we support devs who are actually innovating,
We push the industry in the right direction. Gotcha.
it's not just hoping for better games, it's seeking them out.
Supporting those indie studios.
Yeah.
Making our voices heard.
Because if enough players say, enough is enough, we want something different,
The industry has to adapt.
they have no choice. The Technomage's presentation, it's not just a diagnosis, it's a call to action.
I like that.
They leave us with a really powerful question, actually. What kind of gaming future do we want?
It's a good question. I mean, do we want more sequels, more microtransactions? Or do we want games that can still blow our minds, like make us feel something again? I know where I stand. The Technomage gave us a lot to think about.
That's the beauty, though, isn't it? The future of gaming. It's not set in stone.
Right. We're all writing it together.
Developers, players, it's
Yeah.
a conversation.
And like any good game, it's about the journey.
100%.
Well, there you have it. We took a deep dive into the state of gaming with the Technomage and the evolution of nostalgia. Nostalgia, disillusionment, the potential of AI. But most importantly, we're reminded that as players, we have a say in what happens next.
We have power.
If this got you thinking, check out the show notes. We've got links to some amazing indie games, articles about AI, the whole deal. Until next time, keep exploring, keep playing, and keep the conversation going.